Hello, beautiful listeners. You've found your way back to Renesmee, where Twilight stories feel a little deeper and a little different. Today's journey is titled, What If Santa Renesmee Got Stranded Away from the North Pole Before Christmas? Plug in your earphones, relax your mind, and let's step into Bella's world together. Nessie's paw. I looked around my workshop and I smiled. I could not have been happier with my life. 3 years ago I had met and married Jacob, a shapeshifter, but more importantly the love of my life and father of my son. It was no by coincidence that the year I had met Jacob was also the year I took over the role of Santa Claus. A role originally filled by my father. My father had decided to retire and pass the job to either me or my brother Buddy. There was a competition and whoever won it would take over as the new Santa. Whoever got married first and by Christmas Eve would take over. I won when I met and fell in love with Jacob. If it weren't for that competition I would not have met my biological family either. Did I mention the Cullens were vampires and I was half vampire? Well, that is the truth. Things have changed a little in the last 3 years. I have a 2-year-old son now. Due to his unusual combination of vampire, human, and shapeshifter genes, he looked like a normal 8-year-old boy. Much like his father Jacob Jr. could shapeshift into a wolf. When Jacob found out we were having a boy, he begged me to name his son after him, so I did. Right now I'm about 8 months pregnant with our second child. This one was a girl. You couldn't really tell that I was pregnant underneath the fat though. The large belly came with being Santa Claus no matter what your sex was. Thank God I don't have the white beard. However, I do have white hair. Mom, are you ready yet? My son asked. He was already sitting in the sleigh. Almost, I replied. I heard him complain but didn't say anything. Nessie, are you sure you want to do this? What if something happens? What if you go into labor? What if? Jacob, will you please relax? We will be fine. Oh, and yes, I want to do this. Jacob, I haven't seen my friends and family since the wedding. They haven't heard from us and we haven't heard from them. I miss the Cullens and I'm sure they miss me. I'm long overdue for a visit. But Nessie, Jacob, relax. We will be okay. We're only going to be gone for a couple of days. I mean, it's December. I can't disappear for too long. Jacob sighed. Okay, fine. I was going to say something but he stopped me with a passionate kiss. Ew. Mom, Dad, that's gross, Jacob Jr. said. He had a disgusted look on his face. Jacob and I just laughed. Take care of yourself, Nessie, Jacob says as I go to sit in the sleigh. My reindeers Comet and Chad were already tied to the sleigh and ready to pull it. Chad was Comet's son. He was only a year old but he was strong and progressing nicely in his training. Ready, boys? Both reindeers turned their heads, looked at me, and nodded. Okay, let's go. We rose higher and higher into the sky until I was sure that we were at the right altitude. Jacob Jr. was definitely very excited. This was his first time leaving the North Pole. He wanted to see the rest of the world badly. The kid was definitely very excited. He almost couldn't contain himself. Once we were close to Chicago, I started to descend through the night sky. Then suddenly there was a whiteout and I could not see anything. Neither could the reindeer, and that scared me. This wasn't just snow, this was a full-on blizzard. One of the worst ones I have ever seen. Go lower, I shouted to Comet and Chad. Okay, they both said to me at the same time. I hoped that by going lower I would be able to see more. So far it didn't seem to work. Mom, what's going on? My son asked, scared. We're going to have to land. How? I don't. I never finished my sentence because just then we violently crashed into something. I was only aware of the fact that I had been thrown from the sleigh. My head smacked against something and I heard it crack and begin to bleed. I barely managed to lift my head. I saw Chad and Comet laying on the ground, badly injured themselves. Santa's reindeer couldn't be killed thanks to Christmas magic, but like all living things they could still get injured. I screamed when I saw Jacob Jr. a few feet away. He had also been thrown from the sleigh. But he was unconscious, bleeding, and not moving at all. Then the pain became too much for me to handle and I passed out. Nessie's paw. I was aware of one and only one thing. The splitting headache that was at the back of my head. It all came to me in a sudden flash. The storm, the crash, Jacob Jr. being unconscious, the injured reindeer, and then that was it. I opened up my eyes and found myself in a room that I had not been in 3 years. I somehow managed to lift my head and I saw my son in bed close to mine. His head was bandaged up and his arm and shoulder were in a cast. Being a shapeshifter, I knew that his injuries had probably already healed by now, but seeing him all bandaged up still scared me. I could tell that he was just asleep now and not unconscious. That made me feel somewhat better. I heard what sounded like a crying baby in the distance and then I noticed something else. My stomach did feel slightly smaller than it had earlier. Carlisle entered the room, and right away he noticed that I was awake. Without saying anything to me, he walked over to me and hugged me as gently as he possibly could. "Thank God, Nessie. You really have no idea how scared we all were when we found you," he said. What happened?" I asked, the grogginess seeping into my voice. "We were out hunting when we found you and that boy unconscious. Your reindeer were also in pretty bad shape. We got you both back home immediately and started attending to both of you immediately. It took us a moment to realize that you were pregnant. The placenta had detached. I started to freak out immediately. It's okay, Nessie, your father did an emergency cesarean and got her out just in time. She's doing just fine. This little boy over here woke up a little while ago but he didn't say much. He seemed nervous, so I gave him some calming medicine to fall back asleep. Oh, that's my son, Jacob Jr. He can be extremely shy. Wait, did you say your son? How? He can't be older than 7 or 8 years old. Carlisle seemed confused. I would have laughed had I not known how painful it would no doubtedly be. Every molecule of me felt like it was on fire. He's only 2 years old. Like Jacob, he can shape-shift into a wolf. I think it's the vampire and shifter genes in him that made him grow so fast. Before I could even process what was happening, everyone in my family was suddenly hugging me to death. Everyone in the family was hugging me and kissing me to death. Especially my mom and dad. I saw my baby girl in my mother's arms and she passed her to me quickly. I was filled with happiness as I held my precious daughter. I was saddened at the same time because Jacob wasn't there. "Who are you?" a little girl asked me. I looked at her and immediately recognized her as Carly Vera Cullen. The by girl I had created just for Aunt Rosalie and Uncle Emmett with my Christmas magic. She was now an extremely beautiful 3-year-old girl, having inherited her mother's impossibly beautiful looks. Rosalie and Emmett smiled adoringly at their little girl. "Baby, that's Nessie, the one I'm named after?" Carly asked. "Yes, that's her," Rosalie said. Carly gave me a huge smile. "Renesmee, where have you been all this time? Why have you not once contacted us?" Mom asked in a serious voice. "I'm sorry, Mom. I've been extremely busy. I felt really bad, that's why I came to visit you. It was going to be a surprise. I didn't think we'd crash and end up as Carlisle's patients. Oh my God. Where are the reindeer?" I shouted when I remembered Comet and Chad. Carlisle right away said, "Don't worry about them, Nessie. We took them both to the veterinary hospital and Emma is still there with them. Last we heard they're undergoing intensive surgery to repair the damage. You should have seen the looks on their faces when we showed up with 2 reindeer." Priceless, Carlisle chuckled. I giggled too. Then I noticed that Emmett was staring, or rather glaring, at my son. Jacob Jr. was holding Carly and looking at her in a way that, oh no. No, tell me he didn't. He imprinted on her, my father said. "What?" Emmett yelled, startling my son and making him cry a little. "Why, you little Emmett, leave him alone," I shouted, getting protective over my son. "He imprinted on my 3-year-old daughter. I'm going to. My son is only 2. He's actually younger than your daughter. I don't care, I'm going to. Emmett, if I have to. Put this baby down and get off of this bed. I promise you things will get extremely ugly extremely fast. No one, not even my own family, messes with my children and gets away with it. Don't ever anger Mama Bear here." Nessie's paw. Once Emmett stopped scaring my son, I calmed down a little. I was happy just to lay there and hold my beautiful baby girl. After I fed her, she began to fall asleep. It was a sight that made me smile. The only thing that I truly did wish for more than anything was that Jacob could have been here to see his daughter being born. Remembering his reaction to his son's birth made me tear up a little. I had been looking forward to seeing that same reaction in him again with his daughter. But sometimes things just happen, I guess. So Nessie, what is her name going to be? Mom asked me. Well, I decided to name her Isabella Rosalie Black. Both Mom and Aunt Rosalie smiled when I mentioned my daughter's name. I think they both would have cried if vampires actually could cry. Can I hold her? Mom asked with a hopeful smile on her face that I would have never been able to say no to. Okay, Mom. I carefully passed my daughter over to her so that she would not wake up. Emmett. I grow. Led when I caught him glaring at my son yet again as he played with little Carly. Can someone please whack Emmett for me? My father smiled, walked up to Emmett, and smacked the back of his head. The rest of us laughed. Especially Jacob Jr. This was probably the most relaxed I had seen him since I woke up. Hey, what was that for? First of all, keep your voice down before you wake up my daughter. Second, I told you to leave my son alone, I retorted. Fine, he grumbled. Nessie, don't you have any way of contacting Jacob to let him know what happened? Esme asked me. I sighed. Unfortunately no, it's just not possible, so I know he'll be extremely worried when we don't get back in a few days. So Nessie, how are you going to get back? Dad asked. I don't know, I closed my eyes to keep calm. After the Cr. Ash, we had Comet and Chad won't be able to fly for a while. Not until after Christmas, that's for sure. Chad? Mom questioned. He's Comet's son. A year ago Comet's mate gave birth to two fawns, a male and a female. Chad is the male. Feline is the female. The ability to fly is only passed from father to son though. Therefore only Chad got the power, I explained. Christmas Eve was right around the corner and I had no way of getting home. I didn't know what would happen if I didn't get home on time to deliver presents. I can't bear to think of the billions of disappointed children on Christmas Day. Had to do something so that would not happen. It's okay, Nessie, you'll be okay. My father's voice startled me as I had not heard him standing by me. He rubbed my shoulder gently and I found it to be oddly soothing. I looked around and realized that everyone else had left the room and it was now just him and I. Are you sure about that, Dad? Nessie, if there is one thing I know about you, it's that you'll do whatever it takes to help people and make them happy. You aren't going to disappoint any kids. You will find a way. Thanks, Dad, I said happily. My father's words had somehow soothed me. Or maybe he just knew exactly what to say. I wasn't sure, but I certainly loved it and appreciated it very much. I felt the effects of my C-section when I tried to get up. My father instantly but gently pushed me back into place. Nessie, young lady, you need to rest and recover now, he added in a stern voice. Dad, you really did my C-section? I asked when I remembered what Carlisle had said. He smiled. Yes, I did. Carlisle was busy trying to attend to you and your psalm, so I helped. I have a few medical degrees of my own, you know. Anyway, when we realized you were pregnant and your baby was in distress, I performed the operation on you. It's the second time I've ever done it. First time was on your mother when you were born. I smiled. If the tradition continues, then maybe one day you'll be doing a C-section on little Isabella here. Dad chuckled. I guess you never know. Nessie, there is something we've all been wanting to ask you. What happened to you? Your hair? Your stomach? Honestly, your grandfather is very concerned about you right now. He was planning on talking to you about it later. It's part of the whole Santa thing. Santa has to have white hair and a stomach. Well, the giant stomach might also be because of all the cookies and milk. I mean, on Christmas Eve I eat about 15 billion calories. You eat how many calories? Carlisle scared the crap out of me when he instantly appeared in the room. 15 billion calories every Christmas Eve. I can't just skip the cookies and milk, that would hurt the kids' feelings. Plus I enjoy them so much. Carlisle was horrified for sure. 15 billion calories, he choked out. How can you do that and not die instantly? Magic, I answered. Nessie, just so you know, the physician in me just had a heart attack and died, Carlyle said. The look of horror never once leaving his face. Please review.